Hi folks, Greeno here, and I am out and about again. Now where am I today? Well, I am in leafy Oxfordshire of all places. About 2.5 hour drive from home, and I've come here for one reason and one reason only. This pub behind me. Now this is a brand new pub called the Farmer's Dog. If you've picked up a newspaper in the last 3 months, you'll probably have heard of it. It is a pub that has been opened by Jeremy Clarkson of all people. So, obviously he has had a lot of success recently with his Amazon Prime show, CLARKSON'S Farm, featuring a farm he bought in this local area. He's a champion of local produce, which he sells in his farm shop, for which there are massive queues. If you've seen the video I made back in June when I went there, you'll have seen the queues. He's also bought a local company making beer. So what better place to sell it than his own boozer? And we're going to check it out today. Now, I've turned up here just after 11 o'clock in the morning, and this place doesn't open till 12. There's already a queue of about 80 odd people outside the front door waiting to get in. So it's going to be busy, I reckon. Luckily, there's a lot of outside space here, and I've picked a day where the sun is still sort of shining. We're going into early autumn, so it'll be all right to sit outside, I think, and have a bite to eat. Anyway, let's take a quick little look around, and hopefully we'll get some good grub. By the time we're recording, this place has only been open for a couple of weeks maybe. I know there's already been a couple of reviewers down here beating me to the punch. I saw Food Review Club came down here, Gary has been down here, but it's really busy. I guess there's that whole new buzz about a new place opening. There's been, like I say, a lot of coverage in the press about it. So people are coming and trying it out for the first time. It's a really nice venue though. The outdoor space is great. I don't know how much use that's going to be in the autumn and the winter. It won't be much good if it's raining, that's for sure. But yeah, I'm looking forward to trying this out. Hopefully it lives up to the hype. We will see. In addition to the pub itself, there's also this large marquee thing set up in the garden with loads of seating outside of it. And I think in there they're serving the kind of things that they serve up at Clarkson's Farm, the burgers, the bacon rolls, that sort of thing. It opens a little bit earlier than the pub and serves as a good overflow, I guess, for when the pub's too busy. Nice this time of year, but I'm not sure I'd want to be buying a burger in a tent and sitting out here in the garden during the winter months. Okay, first things first, the pub inside looks beautiful. Really busy though. It took me half an hour from the doors being open to actually getting served. Got a beer, one of Jeremy's Hawkstone lagers. Not bad. But the problem is today, the actual main part of the kitchen is actually closed. Now Gary had this issue when he came here, I remember from seeing his video. There was no available main menu, just bar snacks. So that's what I'm limited to today as well. So I've got myself a sausage roll and a Scotch egg. Maybe we'll head back into the tent afterwards and get a kebab or something. I know Gary got a kebab last time he was here, so yeah, all a bit disappointing. It's a long drive up here from Dorset, 2.5 hours, and I can't even get a proper lunch. Anyway, let's crack on with what we've actually got. We'll try the Scotch egg first. Oh, cutlery was lacking too, no knives. So we're gonna have to go with our hands. So it looks like quite a nice Scotch egg. It's a little bit soggy on the bottom there, but obviously it's been fried in-house, a nice amount of sausage meat in there, and a reasonably nicely cooked egg. Let's give it a try. I've got to say the flavour of it is nice. I say the crumbing, I think it's been sat for a little while. They must have knocked a huge batch of them up this morning or whatever, and they've just been sat on one flat kind of surface, because the bottom of it does look kind of flat, and that breading is soggy on there now. But the taste of the sausage meat is very, very nice. And the egg itself has a good flavour. The yolk, nice and creamy. Yeah, it's just a little bit of a shame that it's not crispy all the way around. The Scotch egg is £6. It's served warm, which is nice. But yeah, it would just be better if it was crisped all over. But there we are. Let's have a look at this sausage roll now. So the sausage roll is served with mustard. You can see here on the plate there's a good dollop of English mustard on there. It's got a nice colour to it. We've got some poppy seeds on the top. And I'm going to guess it's probably the same sausage meat inside as we get inside the Scotch egg. So I'm going to open it up and have a look, if I can, using a fork, because like I say, there was no knives available. Easier said than done. So inside there's a huge amount of sausage meat in there. Nice and warm. Lots of coloration on the end of it where it's been baked in the oven. Oh, there's a little bit of mustard already on the pastry there, so we'll give that bit a go first. The pastry has a lovely crisp. Possibly a touch overdone. It's almost hard rather than crisp. But again, the flavour of the sausage meat, I think it is exactly the same sausage meat they use in the Scotch egg. It's actually nice. Well, I might have got overdone the mustard there a little bit. Wow. A little spicy, that bite. But yeah, it's a good sausage roll. Is it the best sausage roll I've ever had? No. You compare this to the ones at Ginger Pig up in Borough Market, for example. It's nowhere near as good as them. But it's okay. £6 again for the sausage roll. Which I don't think is too bad in a catering kind of environment like this. But it's really not the lunch I came for, is it? Okay, I've come away from the little outside seating area where I was eating my sausage roll and Scotch egg. Do you know what? I've got to admit, I'm really pretty cross about this place at the moment. So, the only way you get to find out they haven't got any main meals available is on a chalkboard literally outside the pub door, by which time you've queued for about an hour to get there. Nobody's coming out and giving any information to people in the queue, advising them of that, so maybe they want to make a different decision about where they're going to eat. Once you're in it for an hour, you kind of think, well, we're stuck here now, so we've got to eat something. To not advertise it, I've looked on their website, I've looked on social media, I can't see anything on there suggesting that they do not have the full menu available today, only bar snacks. I think that is unacceptable. There's no signs, there's no people giving information out. That is not good enough. It really isn't good enough. Also, if you order in the bar, inside the pub, they give you your drink in a glass, and then you go round the corner into another queue to get your food. Okay, that's fine, they want to move people along. But there are only certain areas that you're allowed to stand. You can't stand out on the terrace, and the queue started to snake out onto the terrace. They're trying to shove people back into the building again. That's disturbing the people who are sat on the terrace eating their lunch. There's not enough tables around. Now there's plenty of seating area out on the field bit here, but you're not allowed to take your glass down there. So if you want to come away from the pub or away from the terrace, you've then got to get your drink put into a plastic glass so you can come down here. And of course that's a faff because there's people everywhere. It strikes me that it's really, really disorganised, not very well run at all. The food, I mean, all I had was a Scotch egg and a sausage roll. And was the quality of the ingredients in them good? Yeah, the sausage meat was nice, the egg was nice. Both not perfectly cooked though. The sausage roll was overcooked. The pastry was pretty hard. On the Scotch egg, obviously it had been cooked properly in a fryer and then just put into a pan to rest. So of course, the bottom of that's gonna, where all the oil kind of sinks down, is gets soft, it gets greasy. So that's not great either. £6 for each of those items, I think. I mean, if it was great, it's fair. But you know, it's just a sausage roll and a dollop of mustard on a plate. The Scotch egg is literally just cut in half, put on a plate. There's no garnish, there's nothing to make it look pretty. I think I may be wrong, okay, but this is just my personal opinion. The maintenance issue is a nonsense, okay? I'm here on a Wednesday lunchtime filming this. They don't open Monday, Tuesday, okay? So they've had 2 days where they could have fixed any maintenance issue. I don't think they can even cope just doing bar snacks. There's too many people here, the queues are too big, it's too disorganised. If they were to try and run a main menu as well, it would be absolute carnage. I personally think they've just chosen not to do it, and they'll start doing that properly when things settle down a little bit, because they can't even cope just knocking out sausage rolls, soup, pate, you know, just real bog standard bar snacks. They've got one guy serving these up. The kitchen's busy, full of people buzzing around, knocking these things up, but there's one guy putting things on a plate for all these people. It's ludicrous. It's absolutely ludicrous. Until they get their act together, do not bother coming here. Not if you want to eat in the pub anyway. We're going to try something out of the tent in a little while, see if that's any better. Yeah, I'm so disappointed. So disappointed. I really wanted to come here and see what the fuss was going to be all about. Like I say, it's been all over the press, all over the papers, how busy this is going to be, how big it's going to be, how great it's going to be for British farming, and some of that is true, okay? The ingredients they're using inside the pub are almost exclusively British ingredients, okay? There are 1 or 2 things that they've had to tweak a little bit, and they're not doing ketchup because you can't, I don't know, whatever. For whatever reason, they think you can't do that in Britain. You can. They're not doing coffee because you can't grow coffee in Britain, but they're serving gin and tonic, even though tonic you can't make just out of ingredients grown in Britain. Anyway, that's an aside. I just don't think they're ready for the amount of people that want to come here. I went to the Clarkson's farm back in June, and there was an 1.5 hour long queue just to get into the farm shop there, and it's got those kind of vibes here too. Too many people turning up for a venue that simply is not set up for that amount of people. Like I say, maybe come in the winter when things have settled down a little bit. They might have the full menu running. There's not so many people coming all the time. But yeah, until then, it's nice to sit in the garden, and I will go and grab something else from the tent, I think, just to try that. But if you want to eat in the pub, I mean, you've got no idea if they're serving proper food until you get here. Not even until you get here, until you get in the building. An hour-long queue until I found out they didn't have a proper menu. Absolute disgrace. Okay, I'm going to nip into the tent now. I think it's called the Farmer's Puppy in there, the little concession with the food. I'm going to try and find something that's not available in the diddly squat shop there, because obviously I've been there and reviewed that already on the channel. But one thing did occur to me. Do you remember when Clarkson was working at the BBC and he went properly mental because he couldn't get a steak for his dinner and lamped a producer or something? And yet, this is what his pub is doing. Getting people to queue for an hour without any proper food available. Huh? Imagine that. Absolutely outrageous. He'd be swinging for people if it wasn't his own boozer, wouldn't he? Right, calm down a little bit after my little rant. So now I've decided to go in and order a leg of lamb shawarma. It's served on a pita bread with some salad and garlic mayo and that kind of thing, so hopefully that's going to taste good. I'm giving a little buzzer here, so when that buzzes, my food will be ready and I'll go and collect it from the little burger van that's just behind me. Okay guys, time for the second chance now. So we have the lamb shawarma here. So it's a little kind of pita bread and naan bready kind of thing, which feels cold to be honest with you, not been warmed up. And on top of there we have some lamb meat, a little bit of salad, there's some cabbage in there, maybe some onion, a little bit of lettuce, and then topped with 2 different sauces, one that looks a bit like a chili sauce and one that I think is a garlic mayo. So I'm just going to try bits and bobs out with it first, and then we'll try it a bit like a proper kebab. Now, of course, normally a kebab you'd have when you've had about 6 pints in a place like this, but you wouldn't be able to queue that long. You'd just still be sober. Absolute nonsense. So let's see if we can get a nice bit of this lamb. So we got some of the toppings on there, the chili sauce and the garlic mayo. That's got a good flavour, in fairness. Really nice, robust flavour of lamb. The chilli sauce is not too aggressive. Kind of almost got a sweetness to it, but with an undertone of chilli. And the garlic mayo brings a creaminess. I've got to say, going through it, there's not a huge amount of lamb in here, and this is £14. Now, I don't think I've ever paid £14 for a kebab in my life. Probably the maximum I've ever paid is about 10. And that would have been a lot bigger than this, let me tell you. But what I will say is I have got the flavours right on this. Now, this kebab I don't think is available at the little food concession place, actually at Diddley Squat. I went there, I had a burger, I had a sausage sandwich. I know they do bacon sandwiches there, chips and stuff. But as I recall, they didn't have a lamb shawarma, lamb kebab there. So this is presumably only available here. And I've got to say, it is tasty. It's a lot better than the Scotch egg and the sausage roll were. I've not tried the bread yet, mind. I'll tear a little bit of that off. It's just a bog standard kind of flatbread. Like I say, cold. I've just picked this up from the van where they cooked it. I mean, it's okay. If it had been warm, that would have been a lot better. I'll dip it in some of these sauces. Falling apart now. Yeah, I mean, it's okay. The lamb, rightly so, is the star of the show. I just don't think there's very much of it. But yeah, this is by far the best thing I've eaten here today. Just want to tell you a little story while I'm munching away on this kebab. So when I went to pick it up, actually the ordering system is that you order at a bar, they give you that little buzzer, then you go and pick it up from the place where they're cooking it. He asked whether I was an influencer, which I said was probably pushing things a bit. But we had a little chat, and he said he hoped I enjoyed this, to which I pointed out, well, at least it looks like proper food, unlike what they're trying to serve next door. And he gave me a very knowing look. So they know what they're doing in there is not good enough. Yeah. I mean, I'm going to finish up properly with a little outro in a minute, but I mean, I think you can guess what my recommendation is going to be about coming here. Okay then, folks, let's wrap up here, shall we? Let's go through it kind of bit by bit. So the actual pub inside looks great. It's been really nicely refurbished. Nice oldie worldy feel to it. Bits and bobs of memorabilia and whatever hanging about. It's a very, very nice looking pub. But it's not organised. The food is not good enough. You can't recommend going in there at all, especially given the fact they're not running the full menu and they're not even letting people know until they read it on a chalkboard. People in that queue who were sort of chatting as they were going through the door didn't even see that chalkboard and were looking at the menus inside the pub, which are still on the wall, trying to order things that weren't available. That's just not good enough. Not good enough. The outside bit, the farmer's puppy with the little sort of burger van almost on the side, I ordered the kebab from there, and that was pretty good. The actual flavours are good. I think it's overpriced. But they are using local produce, I guess. Hopefully everything that went into that chilli sauce and the garlic mayo are local, because he's not serving coffee, because that's not local. So one has to assume that everything that's going into this lamb kebab is local. Yeah, I mean, that was tasty enough. Tasty enough. I mean, if you split it into the two parts, I mean, the pub, I wouldn't give any more than 1 out of 5 at the moment. Really wouldn't. Hopefully things will improve, and I'm sure the ethos of the place, once they get it right, is going to be very, very good. But right now, it just isn't, and it's definitely not worth driving to. When I went to Clarkson's farm, the Diddley Squat, I came away with the message basically that it's very, very admirable what they're trying to do, support local farmers, and the same is true here. But, like I said about there, you've got local pubs near you that are doing the same sort of thing, trying to support local farmers. Same as you've got local farm shops around you that are doing that. Use them. Don't drive here just because it's got Clarkson's name on it. You're not going to see him. He turned up for the opening. He'll turn up when it's an Amazon filming day. You ain't going to see him, right? It's not worth it. It really isn't. Particularly with the level of customer service that they're giving the people that are turning up, queuing. Just don't do it. Don't do it. Go and support one of your local guys. They need it more than this guy does. Now, if we turn to the outside bit, that I think is pretty good. It's more well organised. They've got 3 or 4 little concession things in that tent. There's a little diddly squat farm shop. There's another little bit selling sort of butchery products. Another bit just selling crates of the beer, and the bar bit where you can order the food and drinks and that sort of thing. That seemed a lot more better organised, a lot smoother. They kind of knew what they were doing in there, and the food was better. So that bit, I mean, we'll give that a 3 out of 5 maybe, something like that. It will get better, and it will be more organised even in there once things settle down a little bit. But yeah, overall, well, let's piece that together. 1 out of 5 for the pub, 3 out of 5 for the tent, 2 out of 5 overall. Does this get Greeno's green light? The ethos does. The ethos does all day long. Support your local farmers. The experience here though, absolutely not. It's a red light until they sort themselves out. Right, well, if you've enjoyed this video here at the Farmer's Dog in Burford, Jeremy Clarkson's new pub, then give it a thumbs up. Hopefully you've enjoyed it more than I enjoyed coming here. And if you'd like to subscribe and check out some more of the content, I'm always grateful to each and every one of you that sticks around. Right, where to next? Who knows, but hopefully it's better than this gaff.